intro or am I?
I'll go ahead and do it. Hey, good evening, everyone. I guess I apparently forgot to pull the intro video, so we're just gonna go both of us. This kind of shows you how kind of crazy of a night it is. Again, thank you guys for listening. Hopefully, you're catching us just right now. To everybody listening on Facebook, YouTube, and X, thank you very much. And for the people that'll be listening to us in the future on Spotify, thank you again for taking your time and hanging out with us. PK is not with us tonight; he's doing family stuff. So tonight, you will have myself and Mr. Bryles. Bryles, let's get this kicked off. How was your weekend?
Good. I don't know if any of you guys here in the Houston area decided to go to the grocery store either Friday or Saturday, but it was cut your way in and shoot your way out. It was a little bit on the nutty side. I'll say that for sure, man. The one thing I will never understand, because, obviously we're in the middle of this freeze. So I hope everybody out there listening, obviously, is safe, warm, and dry through all this. We should have a little bit of a rough night tonight. And then after that, it's going to get better. But where I was going with that is the one thing I don't understand is why does everybody have to get like 2 years worth of toilet paper anytime something happens? It's like, guys, yeah, get what you need for like a week. You'll be fine. You'll be okay. Things aren't going to change that much. But yeah, it was crazy. It was like water was out of stock, toilet paper was out of stock, milk was out of stock. It was pretty nuts. But anyway, Saturday not too bad. We just ran errands, did family stuff, and then that's been it. We just hunkered down today. It was kind of nice doing a whole lot of nothing. How about you, man? How did everything go your weekend and preparation for the winter apocalypse?
Yeah, I mean, so man, it's been a whole lot of doing nothing, man. We've been kind of hanging out. Um, I mean, everything's kind of been shut down. I mean, I went up to Kroger today. It wasn't too bad. I mean, I went pretty early in the morning. Um, but yeah, man, I mean, outside of that, trying to get everybody for League City Little League for our team, kind of all in the same chat so we can kind of put out the information. But that's really been about it. I mean, like, I'll be remote tomorrow, so I'm at that point now where I'm just ready to get back to the office. I mean, like I've been home for like like 2.5 days, and it's just like, you know what? At this point, I'm willing
Yeah.
to take on the weather to get back. I mean, but like, yeah, I mean, so I just want to give a kudos out to any one of it, anybody that's listening or anybody just in general that went out to FanFest over the weekend. Definitely wasn't the most fantastic of conditions, but I was able to pull some of the news and stuff that I think Dana Brown had a quote sometime when he was asked. I know was it 610 or 790. They had a couple of players on that they interviewed. I didn't get a chance to listen to all of them. I mean, but yeah, I mean, like, we're at that point in time. We're kind of at the reverse dog days of summer. We're at the dog days of winter, where we're basically in that dead zone between the hot stove is technically over and we are at 17 days until the start of spring training. I mean, so right now,
Exactly.
um, yeah, so it's not a whole lot to talk about. You're going to do a lot of like reaching and stuff like that. But Dana Brown did say that he was trying to make a couple more moves. He definitely wants to add another left-handed, hitter. Supposedly, there are teams that are interested in players like Christian Walker, um, Jesus Sanchez, and of course, Isak Paredes has been the belle of the ball as far as the trade talks in the last like month. What I want to know is where are these guys that are interested in Christian Walker and where do they come from out of nowhere? I guess. I mean, so um, I guess we're gonna continue to beat this dead horse, about this whole potential Paredes trade. Maybe they move Walker, maybe they move Sanchez. I mean, with Browns, what intrigues you about pretty much anything that Dana Brown put out over the weekend?
Well, the lefty bat, I do definitely agree with him on that. We're very right-handed as of right now. Which, don't get me wrong, I mean, we've seen some killer squads come out for the Astros that were mainly right-handed, throughout the seasons, especially the last 10 seasons. So that part, it doesn't bother me too much, but at the same time, I do agree. Like, you have to have another left-handed bat, especially when we're going up against left-handed pitching. You can't just roll out your entire right-handed squad and then all of a sudden you've got some lefty ace or some lefty, kid that's just coming up that's throwing hard. And then all of a sudden, all these right-handed batters are striking out. So I personally, I don't know who they're looking at. I'm going to assume it's going to be an outfielder, but or are they looking at more of a bench piece that can come in and platoon? Even so, even if they do that, I still think it's got to be an outfielder. So I'm going to be curious to kind of see what Dana Brown's shopping around for in that section. As far as the Christian Walker talks have been, the only two teams that I have heard that have been interested in him have been the Padres, and then recently I know the Pirates were kicking the tires on him, which once again, I don't know what either one of those teams' plans are or exactly what they need. I know for Christian Walker, he would probably fit with the Padres a little bit better, being in the National League West for the majority of his career. So, that would probably be familiar stomping grounds for him. I've been out to the Padres spring training facility before, and I'm telling you, it's really nice. And, being out there in, what is that, West Phoenix, to go to that area is, just awesome for spring training. So, I'm sure that's probably what he's thinking, doing that more than the Pirates and then, heading out Florida. But he doesn't really have a choice anyway. So I'm sure if the Astros got the deal that they wanted, that they're going to be in, they will probably try to strike a deal for him. You're right. We've talked about this Isaac Paredes thing and beat it down here over the last, I don't know, 2 weeks. And it's not just us. It's every single, Astros sports media person and podcast and anything involved with the Astros. That's been the thing that has kind of been pushing any Astros talk. And I know Boston is the one that wants to get him. And we've talked about it. I say it's Duran or bust. There's obviously some other options out there, but I'm telling you, we hold all the cards right now. So I'm really hoping that if Dana Brown does decide to move Isak, which I disagree with, he better get something in return that's going to be of equal or better value than what we're trading away. So I know the idea of any baseball trade is to make both teams better, but at the same time, I really don't see you getting better unless you have Duran back from Boston. And if it's not Boston, it better be something pretty equal to that. So anyway, that's really been the majority of what I've heard as far as everything is concerned. Chris, have you heard anything else in regards to any of those moves?
Yeah, I mean, so from what I've read, apparently Michael Schwab put out, I think it was maybe a couple of days ago, that supposedly if a deal was to be made for Paredes to Boston, it would not include Jaron Duran. I've also read something here, I don't know how credible it is, about potentially Detroit now being interested in Paredes. And I've
Ah,
also heard something about San Francisco also being interested in Paredes. I don't know what a Paredes to the Giants would look like. I mean, it would just kind of depend on. I mean, you need an outfielder. You need a lefty outfielder. I mean, so like it just, to me, Jaron Duran, checks all the boxes. I mean, you need a lefty. He's controllable for another 2 years. I mean, but like, I I guess what it kind of boils down to is just, do we? What you definitely don't want to do is make a trade just to make a trade. And I feel like
agreed.
Boston and Houston have been at this long enough to where I feel like if Boston's not going to give you the good pieces that you want, you get up and you walk away at this point. It's like, listen, I'm not going to just take what you're offering me just to get it done. Um, I've seen a bunch of like the fan, or the fan, I guess hypothetical trades to Boston. I don't know why everybody's a fan of trading Brian Abreu right now. Um, like there was one trade. I don't like, put it this way. All I saw was Paredes, Abreu, and Bryce Matthews. And I just stopped reading it because I'm like, this is a terrible trade offer. I don't even know. I mean, it's not even like we're getting Mookie Betts back when he was with the Red Sox. I mean, so it's not even worth me reading it. Yeah, I mean, like, so I guess at this point, if the trade is not going to include Duran, like, would you be okay with it at this point? I mean, like, I could see San Diego being interested in Christian Walker, because he has that familiarity with, playing in Arizona as long as he did. We saw him the few times we played in Arizona, and especially those West Coast NL West teams. Christian Walker definitely went off. I mean, you could definitely tell how comfortable he was in those stadiums. I mean, so it would definitely make sense for him to go, for them to make a deal. I mean, the Padres are, I mean, like if I'm thinking about the Padres, I mean, they only have a handful of prospects really that are like worth anything. To be honest with you, they've completely depleted that farm system over the last few years with all the trades that they've made. So like, I mean, and you're not going to get Ethan Solis, so I wouldn't even,
No.
I mean, you might, see if you can get like maybe a double A arm. I mean, and that's the difference. So, like I know you said something about how you didn't want the Paredes trade to get done, which I mean, I get it. I mean, young, controllable, but your return for Paredes versus your return for Christian Walker, we're talking almost night and day. I mean, you may get a single A arm for Christian Walker from the Padres, where if you do make that trade, maybe they do work something out with Boston where you get, Rafaela, maybe you get Tolley, maybe you get both of those two young controllable pieces. So, I mean, outside of that, I really haven't heard a lot. I mean, or read a lot. Um, I mean, like I feel like people are just like making articles just to make articles to pass the time to try to like get through these days, and hopefully until something does happen. But I mean, that's yeah. I mean, like it pretty much from this front. I mean, it's been pretty quiet, pretty silent on the news front. So I mean, that's pretty much.
Well, yeah,
Go
no,
ahead. Go
I
ahead.
agree. No, it has been pretty silent, but and I do want to follow up real quick on anything that's going to be a Christian Walker trade. That's going to be a straight salary dump, is what we're looking at there. So that, yeah, I don't really expect to have any kind of return coming back for that. And I think you nailed it. I think it's going to be like double A player. We'll probably have to throw in a little bit of cash considerations, and we might get a player to be named later. And that's really going to be about all it is. Let's put it this way. If we trade Christian Walker, it's not going to be exciting, and we're not going to get anybody that's going to be on the major league squad probably for at least 3 seasons. So that's kind of what I'm looking at.
No, I mean you're about right. I mean the only good thing about moving Walker is now you move Paredes to first base, so
Yep.
that should leave you a spot open. Oh, there is one thing. As we segue for some news, I almost kind of gave it away just thinking about it. Another one of the things that was spoken about during this fan fest was the fact that Bryce Matthews is going to be taking some reps at center field for the Space Cowboys and
Oh,
also during spring training. So I don't know if it's going to be one of those things where they're gonna throw him out in center like they did Cam Smith in right field last year, see how he looks, and then maybe he's starting everyday center fielder in Sugarland for maybe a couple weeks to a month. And if he looks good, and whoever is on your starting outfield or the outfielder starts to struggle, then you bring up not Cam Smith, you bring up Bryce Matthews. So Browns, what do you think about that?
I like it, but the one thing that I'm a little confused on, which is I thought we already had a center fielder in Jake Myers. So Jake's his defensive glove is fantastic. I don't want to trade that out of center field for a Bryce Matthews. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Bryce Matthews can't play center field. I'm not saying he can't play right field or left field. I think he would be more suited to play probably left start out than center and keep Myers there. But I don't know. Maybe they plan on either one, moving Myers in a trade, or two, they plan on putting Myers into left field. I do know that Jordan's supposed to be almost predominantly the DH moving forward, which, with his injury issues over the last 2 seasons, I don't think that that's a bad idea by any means. But, it's starting him out in center field. I get it. He's got speed and he's got an arm. So don't get me wrong. It's not a bad idea. But, Jake does have an elite glove in center field. So when I think about it, I'm like, I kind of rather leave Jake there, have Bryce take some reps over in left field. And I also heard that he's going to be taking reps at second base too. So he's going to supplant Altuve every now and again, give him a day off, I would imagine. And that's all assuming that he makes the team. So we'll see how all that turns out. But yeah, that's kind of the way I see it. I don't want him to be our everyday center fielder. But, you know, if he can go out there, give Jake a day off and take some reps over in left field, I think that's going to be the best way to move forward. What do you think?
No, I mean, like, I feel like you don't need to rush him. I mean, you give him the reps that you need to give him in spring training. I mean, you still have, let's see, your starting outfield right now is what, Zach Cole, Jake Myers, and then you're going to get some type of platoon of um, Jesus Sanchez and maybe Cam Smith. You still have Zach DeZenzo that was taking reps in the outfield before he got hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, so like you don't have to rush these guys. There's a chance that your starting lineup for the Space Cowboys on their opening day, which I believe is March 28th, I think it's the 28th, maybe it's the 27th. But I mean, you could see Cam Smith in right and Bryce Matthews in center. I mean, so and that's the thing, man. Like I feel like with the whole thing with Cam Smith last year is that there was such what's the word I'm looking for? So there was such a hole missing with you just traded Kyle Tucker. You know, he's gone. Like I said, you had lost Alex Bregman. So I feel like everybody kind of got caught up in what I call it is the Cam Smith's week and a half, 2 weeks of Linsanity with the multiple home runs against the Mets and stuff like that. I think,
Right.
and don't get me wrong, I did too. Like I was campaigning for him to make the club out of spring. But the big thing for him is that like all the pitchers now they started to make adjustments on him in the second half of last season.
Yeah.
And he did not make a good job of making the adjustments to their adjustments. So he has to do that. You know, like I wouldn't be opposed of him starting maybe the first month, maybe in AAA. Now, I'm not saying that he sucks and he can't recover from this. But I mean, what I'm saying is I'd rather see Cam Smith at that 270, 280. I want to see, what I want to see in spring training is how he's going to bounce back from the lackluster, second half of the season that he had. And if he can do that offensively, like I said, I mean, for him barely making the adjustment to right field, I mean, wasn't he top 3 in Gold Glove voting?
Yeah.
I mean, the kid's an athlete. That's why like I'm not tripping too much about Bryce Matthews getting some reps in center. I mean, that kid's an athlete too. I just think like you have what you're trying to do is you're trying to game plan for like if a Paredes trade doesn't, happen, if you can't move Jake Myers, where can you fit these young guys? I mean, like you've already traded Jacob Melton. I mean, so like you've got these moving pieces that you're going to have to kind of play Tetris a little bit to kind of make it work to where like if you need to, like bring somebody up because let's say Jesus Sanchez is off to a slow start. I mean, we've seen that last season. All they did was, the guys they brought up from Sugarland contributed when you need them to contribute. I'm not saying, collectively they contributed when you needed them to contribute. There wasn't one guy that just went off came up out of nowhere and hit 70 home runs. I mean, you just had everybody basically do what they needed to do. I mean, so like, I think that's what it's more kind of like, like I was saying, they're just kind of getting all their pieces ready to rock and roll for spring training in case some of these moves don't get made. Or they do make a move, they don't have to like jump through hoops to say, okay, well now we moved, let's say they moved Jake Myers. Now what do we do at the outfield position? So
Right.
I like I said, I just think it's more of like they're getting all their pieces together, their secondary and tertiary pieces ready to go for spring training in case some of these moves do happen or they don't happen.
Well, and you brought up a really good point about Cam Smith. And the other thing I was thinking that I think a lot of people forget, I mean, he's only had 60 minor league games, and I'm not talking like 60 AAA,
period.
60 minor league games, period. So yeah, it was kind of expected when the league, made the adjustment on him when he was just on fire. and then he started to struggle. I mean, yeah, of course he's going to struggle. One, he's really, really young for, being a major leaguer. And then two, he just doesn't have the minor league experience to kind of know how to adjust to that. So a lot of these guys, that come up from single A to double A to triple A, obviously they're going to have scouting. The other team's going to have scouting reports on them, and they're going to try to strike them out. But at the same time, you've got a little bit more of a learning curve on trying to figure out, like, okay, so they, or were always pitching me down away. Now they're pitching me up and in. Now you got to figure out how to turn on that. So, and that's just an example, but it's a whole lot different when we're talking about Major League Baseball scouting, and then they get a scouting report on you, and you've got guys that are just throwing straight gas and pinpointing anywhere they want those pitches. So, yeah, I can see how Cam Smith definitely was going to have a hard time with that. So if he does end up in AAA, I'm not going to sound the alarms and be like, what are we doing? Oh my God, what is going on with the Astros? Why are they doing this? It's not going to be that. He just is going to need a little bit of work, and that's all there is to it. But trust me, he's going to be coming back with what you said, especially him being an athlete. I 100% agree. That kid, I'm telling you, you could put him anywhere on the diamond and he'd be just fine. I wouldn't go throw some catcher gear on him right away, but you know what? I bet if he did, he'd figure it out. So anyway, that's all I'll say about that part of it. But the one thing I am excited about, and you mentioned this at the get-go, we are 17 days away from pitchers and catchers reporting in Florida. So I'm super, super excited for that. I remember the days when it used to be like, we'd be watching NFL playoffs, we'd get to the Super Bowl, and then it felt like it was 6 months before we even had anything to do with baseball. That gap is getting a lot smaller, and these guys are putting in work, and we get to see the Caribbean leagues and, all these other secondary leagues that these guys are playing winter ball with. And it's been a lot of fun. So, for Astros fans, we've been able to see a whole lot of our players get work in. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're going to have to go and dig for it, but that gap's gotten a lot smaller. And I'm excited to see these guys report for pitchers and catchers. And I think this, especially our pitching lineup, is going to be stacked with the moves that we made in the offseason. And on top of that, you were talking about the Space Cowboys. Can you imagine what the Space Cowboys lineup is going to look like this season? Like we're going to have some dudes down there. They're going to be definitely making some noise, and I'm going to be excited for that, especially, getting to go to the games, watching these pitching lineups that we've got. So that's going to be a whole lot of fun starting out.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. It's going to, and I mean, this spring training or this, like, I guess MLB offseason is going to be, it's going to be a lot more exciting too, because now you got the World Baseball Classic going on. It's going to be pool
Heck
play is
yeah.
going to be here in Houston. Um, right before that, I want to say it's the first weekend of March. You have the College Classic that's going to be down at Daikin as well. I mean, so like really, we have what 4, 5, 6 days left of January, and then you have maybe about 3.5, 4 weeks left of really no baseball, and then it's going to start popping off early in March. I know we bought our tickets to go to West Palm Beach on, I think it's the 10th, when they play Baltimore. So hopefully I'll get lucky and I'll get to see Emai pitch. Either way, I'm definitely bringing both the boys to stack up, load up on autographs. So, uh,
Right.
yeah, but I mean, so we're pretty excited about that. We're thinking about maybe going to 2 games, but yeah, I mean, like I'm excited. I mean, like I felt like pretty much since Christmas was over, like it's kind of like, man, because right after Christmas, it was like 85 degrees outside and it just smelt like spring. Like it just went from like Christmas to spring in like a day. And then we have days like this where it's like, so like 20 something degrees outside. I mean, like Brown said earlier today, man, I hope everybody's doing good. I know from our side of town, like we got rain through most of the day. I mean, but like, I mean, I think it might have just hit freezing for us here down in League City. So, definitely, if you guys don't have to go anywhere, don't go anywhere. But yeah, man, bring on baseball season, man. Like I'm at the point, like wrap this up already. Let's go. Like I'm ready to do this. If you're gonna make the trade, make the trade. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And the one thing when you were talking about that and having tickets to West Palm Beach, it reminded me that is the one thing I really, really miss about when we lived in Arizona. It was I had the luxury of getting to go to spring training games every single year. And I'd probably hit, I don't know, at least 7 or 8 and try to hit, multiple parks and stuff like that too. It's just fun. It is spring training is an experience that I think every baseball fan needs to make a point to go enjoy. If you truly love spring training, excuse me, if you truly love baseball, you've got to get out and go to a spring training game, whether it's Florida, whether it's Arizona. And I don't even really care, the teams that you're watching. It's the experience that you're going to get. Now, obviously, we're going to want to watch the Astros more than anything else. But I'm telling you, just get out there, go see some baseball, go sit out in the lawn and you take a blanket with you. That's a whole lot of fun, too. So anyway, that's my one piece on spring training for sure. And I'm looking forward to it. I cannot wait to start seeing everything that's coming out, how these guys are doing, what they're looking like. And hopefully the Astros don't have a really stupid hat this year because I want to get a spring training hat.
Oh my God, they better not. Of course, this will be the first time since Benjamin was born, because I used to go like every single year, and then Benjamin was born, and then it's been like 8 years now since. But yeah, like I agree. Like I'm finally gonna be there. They better have some badass hat or something. Like it better not be lame. But yeah, I mean, like so, like it's oh God, like man, it's gonna upset me. Like PK said, where I was talking to PK offline, he said that he's like maybe they'll bring back that magical Astros hat that that everybody spent so long trying to find, the one with the palm tree from like 2 years ago. So, but yeah, I mean, like I'm excited about it. That you're gonna have enough position battles to where I think this is probably gonna be the first time in probably a while that like you've actually have some position battles. I mean, we've been fairly lucky as fans to like where the last like probably leading up till maybe like last year, we'd go into spring training and there maybe be what the last reliever, maybe there'd be a battle between 3 guys. Everything else was like completely already spoken for. I mean, you've got outfield positions that are open. You have bullpen spots that are open. Hell, we have 9 guys right now on this roster that could be a starting pitcher, but we're only going to go with the 6-man rotation. I mean, so like there's plenty of like, I guess I don't want to call it drama, but there's plenty of storylines going into spring training that I mean, like I said, like Browl said, I mean, if you're a fan of baseball, especially the Astros, I mean, there's a lot to get excited for it, and especially since the fact that now the Astros gave us that super early Christmas present, I guess you could say last year, with these Space City Home Network actual streaming app. They're going to be streaming 11 spring training games. So there's their network's free plug on the show, because
there we go.
Spoiler alert, they're not paying us nothing to say it. So yeah, Brawls, you got anything else before we wrap this up?
No, that was it, man. I think that the countdown to spring training is on. I'm looking forward to it. I am looking forward to the rotation battle, because you're right. I mean, we have so many dudes that are going to be competing for those 6 spots. I mean, obviously Hunter Brown's 1, Amaya is going to be 2, and then you'd expect Christian Javier to be 3. But the bottom 3, it could be anybody. It could be any of 6 dudes. So we'll see. And that's another reason I was saying, the Space Cowboys rotation is going to be stacked this year. So, if you can't make it out to an Astros game and, you live on the Sugarland side of Houston, definitely go check out the Space Cowboys, because they're going to be a whole lot of fun to watch this year.
And we'll be there a lot too. Trust me.
Yep.
We'll be there a lot too. All right. Well, it looks like this is going to wrap up this episode of the Juicebox Heroes. I want to thank everybody for listening to us on Facebook, X, and YouTube. Thanks, Browse. Way to bail me out. Also, again, for everyone that's going to be listening in the future on Spotify, again, thank you guys. Tell your friends about us. We're growing as a podcast. We're about to start our third season into doing this. We are about to drop some pretty big news here. Actually, I think we thought about doing it tonight, but PK's not with us, so maybe we'll do it here in like an episode or 2. But again, thanks to everybody for listening. I'm one of your hosts, Homer Chris. I've got Bryles over here, and we are Juicebox Heroes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward, man. This is going to be some fun stuff to drop on everybody.
Yeah. I'm just ready for it up so we can just do practice. That's all I want.